Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey, everybody, it's your good friend, Eric Thompson. This is the Ninja Selling Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. Today, we're going to have fun with an interview with someone who is experiencing the Ninja installation for the first time as we speak. So you all, I'm so excited to introduce you to my good friend. It's Fancy Rutherford. Fancy, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Eric. And hello, fellow ninjas. It's official. I'm here with you.
You are now official. So when I said as we speak, you all, it is as we speak. Today is the Friday of the Ninja installation. It's the last day, day 4. We're recording this on the lunch break. So Fancy, you're about 3 hours away from your commencement ceremony. So congratulations on the first 3 3/4 days of the Ninja installation.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Okay. So I don't think we've done this before on a podcast where we're going to interview someone to get their first take, their first impression. What's it like to go through the Ninja installation? In addition to what you're going to learn today from Fancy is a whole lot of takeaways about what drives her business, what makes it go, the success that she's been having. And Fancy, why don't we start with this? Tell us the market that you serve, where you live, and then also the company that you're with.
Yeah, so I work in the Truckee and North Lake Tahoe area. I work with a brokerage called Tahoe Mountain Realty. We mostly specialize in resort markets, so second homeowners, ski resorts, summer vacation destination. It's an awesome place to live.
Got it. Awesome place to live. I can imagine. I've had the great opportunity to visit there a number of times. It's beautiful. It's incredible. It's an incredible real estate market. One thing all of you are going to pick up on as you're listening is that Fancy and I have known each other for a few years. We're friends. I've been lucky enough to do some work with her company, Tahoe Mountain Realty, again, based in Truckee, California. Incredible real estate brokerage company. I just cannot say enough good things about the people there, the culture, the performance, the service. An amazing company. And Fancy, you have an amazing business and that we're going to get into. And why don't we first start with your background? You have a really interesting background, things that you did leading up to real estate. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, well, I fell in love with the mountains. So we moved up here many, many years ago, and I found a love for snowboarding and made a career as a professional snowboarder for about 10 years and got to travel the world and snowboard every day with my friends and had a great time.
Amazing. And so I said, I think you're the first guest that is, as we speak, experiencing their first installation. I think also you're our first professional or ex-professional snowboarder guest. So you have two firsts. So that's amazing. You had a lot of success. Yes, you could probably find online videos of Fancy snowboarding. You've been in movies, et cetera, et cetera. And so had a lot of success there. You're having incredible success as a real estate agent. I know that last year in 2024, your sales volume was 17 million. You had an incredible year last year. You're already off to the races this year. So congratulations on that. Tell us, I'm curious, I'm guessing other people are curious too. What are some things that you were able to take from your experience as a professional athlete into being a professional real estate agent?
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Eric. That's a great question. Yeah, snowboarding, I think really you have to be persistent. You have to be willing to fail, and you have to be willing to get back up again and try. I think, and you have to be able to sell yourself. You know, as an athlete, it's your job to sell yourself to brands or your followers and that kind of stuff. So really learning how to sell myself was really helpful. I learned the communities by driving around looking to see if I could snowboard off any of their roofs. That's one funny thing that I learned. But no, seriously, I think that persistence and understanding what challenges are possible to overcome and helping my clients then work through those same challenges or questions and not knowing, when they have the fear of the unknown, being able to walk them through that next step.
Right. Got it. And I so appreciate what you're saying about learning how to fail, because being a professional athlete, especially being a snowboarder, is a whole lot about failing before you get it right, before you get the trick right, before you finally land it.
Yeah.
There's the risk of failure, which in snowboarding would include like physical injury. So
Absolutely.
failing is always uncomfortable. In snowboarding, it's literally uncomfortable because it's going to hurt. And so what I find and what we find often in coaching is that the reason why people are not willing to move forward, put themselves out there, try new things, to really go for it is because they're afraid of failing. And really what they're afraid of is a fear of being uncomfortable.
Right.
It doesn't feel good to not get the result that you want. Sometimes it doesn't feel good to try something for the first time because it's new, and that alone feels really uncomfortable. So you've been able to take your experience as a snowboarder and apply that to real estate. Do you think that as a snowboarder, was there like a moment in time where you figured out how to be okay with failing, or do you think that was like a long evolution, like little by little over time, or was there like a moment and you're like, okay, for me to be able to get to where I want to go, I'm going to have to be okay with failing and being uncomfortable, and yes, from this moment on, I'm going to do it? Or again, was it more like over time?
I think it's definitely more over time. Like you can, set your sights on, say, doing a backflip on your snowboard. You can hype yourself up to do it and then convince yourself, go through that mental walkthrough. I'm going to land the backflip. I can see myself landing it, and you'll go out and you'll fail, or you'll land it. And you get that confidence up, but you could come back to it, whether it's on a different jump or at a different mountain, a different day. And the stars don't align, so you have to work through those same challenges and struggles all over again.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
You're doing something really great now where you're giving back to the snowboarding community, and you're helping others. You're teaching others, right? You're giving them the opportunity to get even better. And so, and by the way, this is not a question that we prepare for, but it's just fun. Tell us a little bit about that. I think it's a great way that you're giving back.
Yeah. So I'm coaching avalanche awareness and women's snowboard camps to women all around the country, all around the world, really. We travel with a women's specific snowboard camp, teaching women how to either ride powder or ride in the park. A lot of women go snowboarding with their significant others, male buddies, and they just say, just do it. And we get to break down to the women the way that we broke it down as friends. Like, hey, it's not just go do it. Let's talk about the fears that are associated with this and get you from point A to point B.
Got it. That is fantastic that you're doing that. What a great way to give back. Okay. So that was fun to talk about your snowboarding background, all the things you learned as a professional athlete that you've applied to real estate. You are having an incredibly successful career as a real estate agent. I mentioned before, last year, 17 million of volume. One thing that happens with people who go through their very first installation is that either they discover or we help them discover that they were a ninja before they knew that they were a ninja, that they were doing ninja type things before they were ever experienced ninja selling, let alone went through their first ninja installation. Fancy, as I mentioned before, you and I have known each other a while. You were a ninja long before this week and doing ninja type things. And one thing that comes up for me as a story related to that is that I remember in 2023, and where you live in Truckee in the North Lake Tahoe area, in the winter specifically, what was happening? Instead of me telling it, why don't you tell what was happening with the weather in that winter in Truckee, California?
Yeah, in California, we experienced an extremely, what I call a wonderful winter. We received over 800 inches of snowfall that season.
Yeah.
It was a rarity, and it caught a lot of us off guard. The snow was piling up on our roofs, and realizing that, it was more snow load than we were used to. So I actually convinced my husband to get up on my roof and shovel my roof off with me and realized it might be a good idea to reach out to all of my clients to make sure their houses are okay. I was offering to drive by, see the condition of their house and see if we needed to get some support out there.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of went from all that snow being fun to almost being dangerous. I mean, it was beyond inconvenient.
Yeah.
The snow was piling up. taller than the windows on people's first floor and all the way up to the roof. And
yeah, we had houses experiencing like windows busting in. We had what's called ice dams when there's so much snow buildup on the eaves of the houses. We also experienced even structural damage from some of the snow load.
Right. So obviously, so many of the property owners in that area, so many of your clients own those properties as second, third, fourth homes. So they're not there full time. They're not there able to work on, check on, rectify those issues, those problems. So you did a very ninja thing, I think, by reaching out to those property owners and clientele and making them aware, and then also offering to help yourself or connect them with someone that could help out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's such a good example. The reason why I think, Fancy, it's an example of you being a ninja before you even knew you're a ninja, is that as a ninja, we don't take a transactional mindset. We don't just think about the transaction in the moment and we're there to help them get to the finish line and close, and then we're on to the next one. We take a long-term approach. We're always looking at ways to help and to serve and add value, always looking for ways to be relevant. And so you were doing that with these people, and there's a story, at least one story of that turning into a transaction. Can you tell that story?
So it absolutely was not the intent to be making sales calls to my clients. It was purely, to see how I could help out or facilitate help. And I did call one of my clients, and that phone call resulted in, finding out that they've had a life change in their family. They had another addition to their family. They weren't going to be spending as much time up in Tahoe, and that they wanted me to go ahead and list their house that spring.
And that, if I remember right, that was around $3.5 million property.
It was 3.6
million. What a great example. Your only intent, your only mission was to serve, to help out, to add value, turned into a transaction. So, I mean, whether you listening live in Tahoe or not, live in an area that gets a lot of snowfall or not, there are all kinds of ways, all kinds of opportunities for you to serve in the same way. And just think about, okay, what would my property owners need right now? What would be relevant? What would be helpful to them based on what's happening in our community, based on what's happening with the weather, based on what's happening with things like what we just saw with the LA fires, et cetera, right? There's so many ways for us to help and serve that have nothing to do with the purchase and sale of the transaction in that moment. It has everything to do with just helping that person out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's just the way you are. You're a ninja long before you knew you were.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us. So here you are today, already clearly having success before ever arriving at the ninja installation. Great levels of volume, great level of transactions, raving fan clients. So how do you do it? What are the things that you've been doing to really generate the level of business that you've been experiencing up until now?
I have been a peer to my clients. I think truly, like that's the biggest thing, making these connections. Like everybody comes up to the mountains to experience this fun getaway. They're clocking out from their normal 9-to-5 lifestyle and they're here to have fun. So I have connected relationship with my clients that, I can help them have a good time. We have a good time together. Like, I think that's what's really important. And I keep in touch with them. And when I pick up the phone and call, because I'm not afraid to hop on the phone, I love making phone calls. We can just have a human to human conversation as opposed to it being a transactional conversation.
Got it. Tell me if I'm on track here. One thing that I've noticed among really successful resort real estate brokers is that they're very good at helping their clients tap into the lifestyle. Like they become like a conduit for the lifestyle. So they make it really easy for those second, third, fourth homeowners when they're there in the community experiencing that. They help them like almost become a local, like see the world through the local's eyes, live like a local, give them that insight, that insider kind of information, because I see that those kind of clients, they almost want to live vicariously through you. And there's even sometimes a tinge of jealousy with those kind of clients for the fact that you get to live there. So Am I in track? Am I saying that right? That you become that conduit to the lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate being that person, like sharing with our clients. So you actually kind of triggered a new response. This year, we actually, both my husband and my dad are photographers. So in the what we call shoulder season in our community, when it's not ski season and it's not golf season, we actually put on an art show at my dad's house and invited all of our clients to come together. And it turned out to be a great community event that brought a ton of energy and introduced people and created like lasting relationships. So we ended up having about 250 people, friends, family, clients from the community come out to the art show and get together, and we had a good time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think a takeaway for anyone, whether you're in a resort community or not, is that you also can be the conduit for the lifestyle. I mean, think about a realtor working in a primary kind of market, like here we are in Fort Collins recording this, Fort Collins, Colorado. People are relocating to Fort Collins. They need a conduit to the lifestyle. Even locals, even people who've lived here a long time, they're always looking for ways to better experience their own community. And so we can play that role regardless if we're in a resort or not.
Yeah.
And yet another way to add value.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. So here we are again, as we speak. This is day 4. This is Friday of the Ninja installation. We're on the lunch break. You're 3 hours from commencement. At this point, about 2.5 hours away. Get excited, Fancy. So what are your big takeaways? Let me ask it this way. Give us 3 big takeaways you've had so far from the Ninja installation. I'm asking you this. There are people out there who have not experienced this before. This will be fun for them to hear about what it's like. And also, there are a lot of people listening who have done the 4 days before. And I'm hoping this can be a good reminder, refresher, a good jolt of some good Ninja energy.
Yeah.
So what's come up for you as some bigger takeaways from this week?
Awesome. Well, first of all, there is so many takeaways, like so many micro items that I've taken that I've just like been writing in bold letters, like, remember that, do that. That's amazing. Like we need to implement this. We need to do that. But I was able to kind of unscatter my brain a little bit and like make a list of 3 things that really have been very profound this week. We've had a good time. I've made a lot of friends. I've gone out to dinner, even snuck out for lunch yesterday with another group of people from the Bay Area, and just having a great time, like making lasting connections and being in the room with Larry has been great. So I am really looking forward to diving into the Ninja 5. I'm going to commit at least 90 days in a row to get this Ninja 5 done every morning, unless it's a powder day. For those of you skiers out there, if it's a powder day, I'll get up, go ride powder. And then when I start my day, I'm going to do it after that's done. So every morning getting the Ninja 5 in and just excited to see. I know the results are going to be incredible.
So the first 5 items, the first 5 success habits of the Ninja 9.
Yes.
You're saying I'm going all in on those. Yes. You said for 30 days.
For 90 days.
90 days.
7 days a week.
Okay. Yeah. All right. 90 days, 7 days a week. That's great. That's terrific. Yeah. It takes 30 days generally to create a new habit. So you will more than create that habit.
Hopefully.
Are there any of those that you had already been doing of the first 5?
Yeah, there's a lot that I've been doing. I've been writing some handwritten notes every week, but the affirmation stuff, I think I'm excited to really dive into doing that and committing something more to myself as opposed to something more for my business or my clients. I'm excited to see the results.
Got it. Okay, so you're viewing that as like a way for you to grow yourself and also a way for you to give back to yourself, like committing that time in the morning.
Absolutely.
Gratitudes, affirmations, positive reading.
Yeah. I always find it easy that those are the things to tick off the to-do list each day. So I'm really excited to focus on that for myself, getting myself right before I can get my business right.
Yeah. What comes up for me is there are 3 keys to success: mindset, skill set, action.
Right.
And so you want to build your mindset. It needs to be built intentionally. It doesn't happen by accident. And so those first 5 items absolutely will build your mindset. Yeah. Totally. So I'm hoping that's a good reminder for anyone who needs a mindset boost. How can I get my mindset back to that high positive quadrant? The first 5 of the Ninja 9 is a great way to do it.
Yep.
Okay, that was takeaway number 1.
Takeaway number 1.
Number 2.
takeaway number 2, and it probably should have been number 1 because it's so huge. It's the Larry Kendall is incredible. The way that he absorbs energy from the people around him and the way that he adjusts for each situation that he's in really has been a learning lesson for me. Like I've kind of just been watching and taking in the way that he reacts to energies and has such a process for working with buyers and sellers and community members to really make people comfortable.
Yes.
And it's really powerful.
Yeah. So tell me if I have this right from your perspective. It's because it's so process focused.
Yes.
And you watch him sticking to the process. It's the process that makes people comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're just settling right into the process that he's offering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild and definitely lessons to be taken from that.
And I think that's also what's coming up for me, Fancy, is what we know about Ninja is it works regardless of market, and it also works regardless of personality.
Right.
And for me personally, that is, I mean, many things that attracted me to Ninja, but that's way up there. That I saw, well, there's something that's going to work for my I think I'm somewhat normal, kind of personality, and not the big outgoing, big time extrovert. That's not me at all. So I said, wow, here's something that's going to work for my kind of middle of the road type of personality. And I hear that a lot from other people too, that, gosh, I'm somewhat of an introvert. And now I see that this is a system that's going to work for me. It matches my personality. I don't have to be the huge outgoing type of person. This is going to work for me. So is that kind of the same thing that you're saying when you have this feedback about Larry?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, we're doing good so far. I like those first 2. We got one more takeaway to go.
We've got one more takeaway to go. So light bulb explosion. I don't want to give too much away for anybody who's never been to a Ninja installation, but in the selling process, Larry just casually says that he's going to have his listing presentation sent over to his clients ahead of a meeting. To me, it was like, stop the class. This is so good. We need to back up. Everybody needs to know this. Like the idea of, when you get off the phone with a potential listing client, that you are going to go above and beyond and have a listing packet that is professional delivered to their door before you even get over there and see them was earth-shaking to me.
Game changer for you.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah.
And for you, so many of those people are not local. I mean, they're not.
Right.
You're on the phone with them. You're in Truckee.
Yeah.
They're likely somewhere in the Bay Area.
Right.
And so you're going to set up a next step. And so you're thinking now by FedEx.
Right. Have it overnighted to their house.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's just like the idea of solidifying how important that client is to you. I just think it's going to make them feel good. I mean, it would make me feel good. If I got off the phone with somebody and they said, hey, I went out of my way and, either hand delivered something to your door or had it shipped, hundreds of miles away because it was that important that you had this information from me and how important you are to me.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So I'll preface this question with, there you are in Truckee, California, working with high-end luxury properties in the multi-millions, working with very sophisticated people. Seemingly very sophisticated real estate agents are in that community. I know that.
Yeah.
This is not the norm in your market for a pre-listing packet to be sent ahead of time. Like if you had to guess what percent of realtors in your market might already be doing this?
I think a very low percentage.
Very low percentage.
And I think the percentage, if that maybe 15 to 20% are sending it over ahead of time, but they're sitting over a digital copy. I mean, I have not heard of one person doing this in our market.
So part of the big aha moment for you is the fact that it would be printed, not just the fact that it's sent ahead, but it is a printed packet.
Absolutely.
Of information that gets sent. It's not just digital.
Right.
Yeah. Now I have some opinions on why that's valuable, why print's valuable over electronic, but let me ask you what comes up for you. What's making that such a big aha? The fact that it's printed, not digital.
I know that I can do a great job listing their house, but I don't know if they're going to choose me or another agent. I just think that showing how the impact of sharing that I went out of my way to ensure that this got to you right away. You are so important to me. I don't even think it really matters what it says inside. I think it's truly the matter of
It's the gesture.
It's the gesture of,
Yes.
wow, you care. I mean, it would be the same, like, it would be weird to send flowers after somebody called asking to list your house, but it would have the same power, right?
Right.
It's just like, I really care about you, and I care to do a good job on time for you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the reaction by the other person can only be, wow.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. If it's a couple, can you look what Fancy just sent us? Can you believe this? Isn't this great?
Right.
Isn't this nice? Isn't this so professional?
It almost feels powerful enough that they're going to say, they're going to be with their colleague. Oh my gosh, look at what this agent did. Like it seems to have a profound impact.
Yes.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And given the kind of clientele that you work with, it's important that you knock their socks off.
Right.
And it's important for anyone, regardless of the price point. I think another factor in here too, of print over electronic, is that about a third of the population are kinesthetic learners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one, and I think you are too. A lot of professional athletes are. So a third of the population would rather have it as something that they can hold on to and flip pages through. Also, what happens in the situation where it's a couple in a household, it can get passed back and forth.
Right.
It can be shown to the neighbor or the friend that stops by. So that lots and lots of reasons why you would want to do print, but you appreciate how it's just going to really make you stand apart and make you stand out. And again, you really appreciate the gesture of it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's something that I would love to receive whenever I sell my house. So I was just like, amazing. It feels very powerful.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So last question. I purposely didn't prep you for this because I just want like your initial reaction. By the way, this is going to be an easy question. Yeah, don't worry. Easier than any snowboard trick that you've done in your life for sure. Let's pretend there's someone out there who's had been thinking about attending a ninja installation and they're not so sure. They're kind of on the fence, or into any version of that. What would you say to them to someone who's been thinking about attending these 4 days?
Yeah, I would say do it. I've read the book. I've learned a little bit of ninja background along the way, but coming together in a room with 100 people who are all focused on their careers and getting to learn from a ninja master has been eye-opening. And I'm excited for 2.5 hours to fly by and actually start the process after this training.
Yes. You're excited for next week.
Yeah.
To put this into
Monday morning.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fancy, thank you again. It's been terrific to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So many takeaways. Again, everyone, it's Fancy Rutherford in Truckee, California with Tahoe Mountain Realty. Look her up. Send her a nice note to say thank you. I'm guessing also, Fancy, if a ninja rolled into town and wanted a quick tour around the mountain, you'd be game for that, right?
Yeah, come out. Let's go skiing or snowboarding and grab a cup of coffee and check out some inventory.
All right, amazing. Okay, everyone, I'm Eric Thompson. I am president of Ninja Coaching. It's been my pleasure to host this podcast. Thank you so much again for listening, for engaging. We very much appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Take care.